When you have a baby, you wonder about a lot of things. What's my kid going to look like? Will she be pretty like her mom, or will she look like me? Is he going to behave well or misbehave terribly? Is she going to get the best or worst parts of our personalities? But sometimes you wonder about deeper, and yes, even crazier things. Try this one on for size. And don't worry, you're not alone in this. Have you ever wondered about something as simple as, what have I gotten myself into? Seriously, how did this happen? I mean, you know how it's happened, but now you have a kid, or you have a second kid, or you can't seem to stop having kids, which means your eyes are bloodshot from sleepless nights, your house is cluttered with bottles, diapers, and plastic toys, you wear spit up on your shoulder like an accessory. The perfect picture of your family is not turning out quite the way you had in mind, and you're wondering, what have I gotten myself into? Well, what you've gotten yourself into is an amazing thing called a relationship with a human being. Granted, right now it's a very small human being, but it's a relationship nonetheless. And this relationship is complicated. There's a lot of pressure to get it right. You've probably gotten some pretty crazy advice, right? But let me go ahead and clear something up. There's no perfect way to parent. And not only that, but you're going to make mistakes as a parent. And that's okay. Because here's the deal. Your relationship with your child is more important than getting everything right. All of the stuff that comes with having a baby, all the schedules, the devices, and theories pale in comparison to the relationship that you build over time with that little human being. That's why parenting is so wonderful. Here's something else you might wonder. Have I done anything this week that really matters? See, instead of measuring your work in how many meetings or how many completed home projects or how many connections you made, you've started measuring your weeks in how many hours you actually slept this week, or how many loads of laundry you folded, or how many diapers you've changed, especially in those early months. You don't exactly get a lot of compliments or affirmation. Your child isn't going to look you in the eye and say, hey, great job keeping me alive this week. You don't get paid a bonus for getting extra loads of laundry done. But when you wonder, does what I am doing really matter? Just remember, being present matters. Being present with your child week after week is the most important thing you can do at this stage. Not randomly present, but consistently present. Now, you may not teach your child some revolutionary lesson or see them develop a new talent each week. You may not even get to shower every day this week. But the one thing you can definitely do is be present. Here's something to think about. Every parent has approximately, now get this, 936 weeks to spend with your child from birth to high school graduation. Imagine those 936 weeks as like marbles in a jar. And with each week that goes by, you take a marble out. Do the math. Based on your baby's age right now, how many marbles do you have left in your jar? Can you believe that you've already lost some of your marbles? This jar illustrates an important principle. When you see how much time you have left, you tend to do more with the time that you have now. Just be there with your child, because sometimes being dependable is more important than doing something remarkable. If you've simply been there for your child this week, you have accomplished something far greater than you could ever measure. Since parenting is so wonderful, here's another thing you might wonder. What does my child need most? That one actually has a simple answer. It's universal for every child. It's sometimes that, or something that any parent can give better than anyone else. I'm sure you probably by now probably know what that is. The one thing that a child needs most is love. From you. That's it. It's simple and complex at the same time, isn't it? With each marble or each week that slips by, there are opportunities to demonstrate the one thing that every kid needs. How we love our kids while they're kids will impact them for the rest of their lives. So you get a chance every day, every week to prove to your child over time that you love them by the words that you say, the people that you invite into their lives, the stories that you tell them, the games that you play with them. Love is the most important thing that you can give a child. One reason that parenting is so wonderful is that now You are the most strategically positioned person in the world to show your son or your daughter what it's like to be loved unconditionally. Here's something else you may be wondering. Will my life ever be the same again? Let me put it really straightforward. No, it won't. Not even close. Your life will never be the same again. Your kid changes by the minute. One minute they're happy. The next minute they're melting down. One minute you find yourself saying, "We'll never have another kid. Ever." The next minute you find yourself saying, "Maybe one more." Their bodies grow, their personalities develop, and their minds expand, and it makes for an unpredictable adventure. But more than that, having kids changes you. And yes, it changes you for the better. Maybe that's why it's so hard. Have you ever noticed that most of us aren't changed for the better by going through things that are easy? Having kids cultivates and nurtures something in your hearts that's difficult to explain. And the only way to experience it is to actually be a parent and have a child. You'll cry more, you'll laugh more, you'll worry more, and at some point you'll probably do them all at the same time. No, your life will never be the same, but really, would you want it to be? Of course not, because parenting is wonderful. There's one more thing that you may wonder from time to time. You may catch yourself thinking about something you've never thought of before until you had a child. Sometimes you will look into the face of your child and just wonder, who will my kid become? Will they get my ears? Will they laugh a lot? Where will they go to college? What will their friends be like? Will they like me when they're 18? Well, guess what? Who your child will become is still somewhat a mystery. It's a question too big for you to answer. Actually, it's too big for you to even try to answer right now. That doesn't mean you can't influence the kind of person your child becomes. It also doesn't mean that you can't start praying for your child's faith and character right now. As a part of your homework for babyd2, you were asked to list out characteristics that you hope your child will develop. So let's take a few moments now and share your list with your guests and families. Invite them to form a circle around you and you and your child and pray for his or her future. So whatever is on your list, whatever qualities you are praying for your child to develop, just remember you have the potential to be their best teacher. That's right. The best person to influence your child's future is you. Between this and this and this and this is you, the single most important influence in their life. And as that influencer, it's important to stay focused on what really matters. The Bible says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. That's out of Deuteronomy 6:5. A wise and trusted leader, Moses, once told a group of parents, aunts, uncles, and singles and grandparents that the most important thing to pass on to every child is a relationship with God. He wanted them to show their children how to love God with all their hearts. It is the same for us. We need to show our children how to love God with all their hearts. Now maybe you feel anxious because you're not sure what that would even look like, but it's not as hard as you might think. Moses advised parents simply to make faith a part of their everyday lives. One of the easiest ways to do that is incorporate your faith into what you're already doing each week. During bath time, when you're driving the car, or when you're coloring together, be intentional about discussing your faith with your child. Yes, you have the most influence over who your child will become, but don't get overwhelmed. When Moses explained the strategy, he challenged the entire community of faith to influence the next generation. When he was suggesting is that you as a parent don't have to do this alone. That's why the church can and should play such a big role in your child's spiritual formation as well as the parents. We want to partner with you. That's why we're here, to link arms with you in raising your child, to have faith of their own. We promise to create consistent and relevant environments for your child so your child can grow in their relationship with God. Together we have 936 weeks to give your child the foundation that they will build on for the rest of their lives. We want to partner with you to help your child become someone who loves God, someone who loves others, and someone who really lives. So start right now. Prioritize your relationship with them. Be present and dependable. Love them regardless, and help them shape their faith.